a lot of people get this app and they just use the roster. It's worth just having a bit of a look through it. You know, we had that much downtime. It's worth just having a flick through, and you know, it's right there in the menu. You can go in, have a look at all the products. There's some great stuff in there. There's some really good podcasts you can listen to. I don't know. But yeah, you know, there's.
Welcome to the Beers with a Miner podcast. My name is Mad Mumsy, and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, "How does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? Oh, you must be rich. How do I get a job doing that?" My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumsy journey to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Tune in each episode as I sit down for a relaxed chat, usually over a few beers, with a fellow miner. Women and blokes with various experience, roles and opinions share their lessons and stories with you. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now, let's dig in. Get it? Dig? Mining? Oh, crack me up. Hello and welcome to another happy hour episode of the Beers with the Miner podcast. I am Mad Mumsy and this is episode number 59. In this episode, I share with you a chat I had with Hendrie from the FIFO Life app. You've got it, right? It's a fantastic app for your phone or your device, whatever you want to call it, that you can put in your roster and at the touch of a button know if you're working, if you're not working. You can put in your annual leave, your sickies. But as I found out during the interview, which you are about to hear, it is so much more than that. It's helpful for families. It's helpful for your partner who's at home. It's helpful for you. There's a countdown on your roster. You can have friends inside the app. You can message each other. And it's really exciting. And I am looking forward to sharing this with you. It took us a while to get together, as we speak about at the start. And a few things happened early on that you'll hear unexpected joys of being a podcaster. However, I really think that you will enjoy this episode with Hendrie, the founder of FIFO Life app. Hello and welcome to the podcast, Andrew. By the time this goes live, I've shared how freaking awesome you are in the intro for my listeners. And I must say I'm excited that we finally get to chat today about your FIFO Life app. And once again, it nearly didn't happen because it's your girlfriend's birthday. So happy birthday to your girlfriend. And we be sure to thank her on behalf of myself and my listeners for, you know, sparing a bit of time for us. Otherwise, it would have been a lot longer again, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, we've actually been talking about doing this podcast for a very long time now, haven't we? So, and then when you emailed me last week, and I was like, yep, Wednesday, fine, lock it in, we'll finally get this done and everything like that, completely forgetting it was Jenny's birthday. Mm-hmm. And then it came to me, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble here. But, yeah, worked out perfectly. She's had to go out for an appointment, and yep, we're managing to slot this in. Beautifully done. And very nice to meet you as well.
Yes, finally. I feel like I know you though, because I've been following your journey, and we've been to and froing a bit trying to set this up. So it's really good to finally sit down and have chats with people when you've been, you know, just online for so long.
Yeah, put a voice to the face.
Yeah, that's it. So, all right, let's dig into the episode. Get it? Dig? Mining?
Oh, I like what you've done there, yeah.
I crack me up. Oh, dear. I can't believe it. This is episode 59, and
wow.
I still feel creepy and weird and laugh when I say it anyway. All right.
Never gets old, hey?
Yeah, no, it's just funny. So as this podcast is called the Beers with a Miner podcast, I like to start these happy hour episodes with my guests sharing their favourite beverage and also their favourite time to enjoy it. It could be beer, wine, spirit, or perhaps even a cup of tea. What is yours, Andrew?
Well, being that I am actually an East Coast boy and living in WA now, but I spent 8 years living in Byron, my favourite beer is by Stone and Wood, and it's a Pacific Ale. Absolutely delicious. But sort of, if I'm not drinking beer, my drink of choice is vodka lime soda. Can't get enough of it.
Oh, right. And do you have that in a short glass or a tall glass?
Tall glass, but I generally make my own at home, so yeah, I don't sort of miss out on the vodka. So,
And the more...
yeah, and fresh lime, never the cordial. Ugh.
Oh, fresh. Oh, there's a bit of poshness, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, the cordials, lime cordials range that they use. So,
Yeah.
definitely fresh lime.
And ice cubes?
Ice cubes for sure. It's actually, I remember I was in Sri Lanka and been drinking it for a while, but a guy told me that the nickname for lime soda is the skinny bitch because you don't put on any weight drinking it.
Oh, now there's... Oh, I might have to have a look into that then, but...
Yeah, it's a hot tip. It's pretty much as low calories a drink as you can have.
So what is it? Vodka, ice cubes, and just squeeze of lime?
And soda water.
Oh, and soda water, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't feel like I can taste vodka, but I always get the hangover after.
Well, probably not putting enough in the glass then.
Oh,
Up your game.
I think I'll stick to my beer. My favourite is Forex Gold Cam, which I have right here with me. First one for the day. And since you're over in Western Australia, Andrew, it's actually the sun has just ticked over into the yard arm here. It's just after 12. So what are you having to drink?
A cup of coffee at the moment because if I sort of started on the beers now, it'd be probably going a little bit too early, and I don't know. I think again the girlfriend probably wouldn't be too happy about that either. So yeah, I'm just on a long black with honey. Oh,
long black with honey, coffee.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah, I'm pretty off the dairy, so I gave up drinking milk a fair while ago, and as much as I love the flat white, like I was obsessed by them, but yeah, I've gone to the long blacks with honey.
Oh, right. Well, I just might have to try that one.
Yeah, it's probably an acquired taste, but you get there.
Oh my God, someone has just come to mow the frickin' lawn at the tennis club. Are you shitting me right now?
That's perfect. I don't know if I can hear it in the background.
Oh, I can, and it will come out. And as the editor, I'm not happy. That's all right. Stay with me. I'm just going to put my seatbelt on and drive away.
You're just sitting in the car, are you?
Yeah. Oh, well, I was going to... well, it is actually, normally.
The acoustics are pretty good, yeah?
Oh, yeah, there he is. Oh, hi, Darren. Thanks for that. Because I'm at the tennis club and he runs oh my God. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. I'm going to probably end up sitting in my car in my own front yard. Well, that's hilarious. That can go in the blooper reel. All right, so we've covered the beer. We've moved house. All right, so Andrew, let's get on to the serious... Well, we've covered the serious stuff, like what we drink.
Yeah, the beer.
The beer, yeah. What got you to start this FIFO Life app?
Well, basically, I'd already built an app previously. It was a travel app, similar to Tinder, but for travellers. It wasn't a dating app. It was for, say, for example, backpackers to meet other backpackers and go travelling together.
Oh, so, right. Yep.
It was a really good app and everything like that. It was just I had a falling out with the guy that I made it with, and we ended up shutting it down. Mm-hmm. But that sort of got the taste going for the app making industry, and then it was just a sort of random comment from a colleague who he was using a particular app that's not available anymore for keeping track of his roster, and he was having trouble with it, and he knew that I'd made apps before, so he just said to me, sort of off the cuff, you should make a roster app that actually works. And we sort of laughed about it, and then I sort of got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, to be honest, there's a pretty big hole in that industry, and, why not have a crack at it? But then I sort of thought to myself, I don't really want to make just a roster app. I want to make a FIFO app specifically. So, yeah, I just started adding the social networking side to it, the mental health side of it, the countdown timers, all that sort of thing that as a FIFO worker you look for, every day sort of thing.
I love the countdown timer. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
pretty much my favourite.
Yeah.
I almost didn't put it in there as well, I made the app and it was a last minute thing. I thought, why on earth would I be putting a countdown timer in it? It's like the one thing you do is count down to when you fly the hell out of there. So yeah, that was a late inclusion. That's pretty much my favourite feature of the app. I'm still using it now. I'm not even working at the moment, but I'm going to Bali in 11 days and so many minutes. And yeah, I'm using it at the moment to count down to that trip. So.
Well, that was one of my questions that I wanted to ask you about is that, well, A, do you have to be a FIFO worker? Because where I'm based here in the Bowen Basin in Queensland, most of the mines are Dido or BIBO, so bus in, bus out, or drive in, drive out, or even live in town, residential. But I know, obviously, I talk to a lot of other people in the industry, and FIFO is kind of a broad overview for people that work in the resources industry nowadays. It's not so much you jump on a plane and go to work. Not just that. Am I right in assuming that? Because, they say never assume.
It's not just for FIFO workers. It just had the best, ring to the name sort of thing. But yeah, no, definitely for Dido. Even residential, it's more to do with the mental health side of things and the social side of things. I've done it myself. I've gone to camps before. I've not known one single person on the job, but I can do a search through the app and find people around that have similar interests to me. You never know. It's a great way to possibly meet people in a place where you feel pretty much as isolated as you're going to feel.
Yeah.
And on that matter as well, it's not even only for workers, it's for partners as well. Not half my audience, but I'd say maybe 30% of my audience is the partners of FIFO workers. They're tracking their partner's roster. They're seeing when they're going to be home so they can organise outings and whatever, And also on that aspect as well is the social side of it for partners. I think one thing that really gets overlooked with the industry, the FIFO Dido resources industry, is that a lot of people move for work. So say, for example, you got a job in WA, and if you have a partner, I don't know if you have a partner or not, but it was a local job in WA. You have to come over here. You brought the family over here. Your partner doesn't know anyone in town either. They need to meet people.
Yep.
So there's that aspect of it as well. You register on the app as a partner of a FIFO worker. You can actually do search to find people in the area that are also partners of FIFO workers and, meet people that way, and start a little community of, partners of FIFO workers as well, because it is an overlooked situation. There's isolation at work. There's also isolation at home with the partners.
I totally agree with that, Andrew, and I know there's Facebook groups and stuff, but they can get just downright nasty in some of the groups and things.
100%, yeah. I see some horrible things.
Oh my gosh!
Not saying that they aren't great as well.
Yes.
There are some really good groups in there, and I think the admins do a really good job of adjudicating, getting rid of the really negative stuff out of there. So good on them. But yeah, some people are just bitter at the world, aren't they?
Yeah, why are they there? But my sister, Dione Drew, the Hard Hat mentor, she's over in WA, and especially in your downturn a few years ago, she started up a little group, and it was actually meeting people in person. So getting away from your devices,
Face to face,
getting out of the house, bringing your kids. You know, they did it for a while. They all helped each other through. They bought, some people bought, I can't even think, off the top of my head, like, they had lemons that they were growing. You know, people started, they had a little picnic, or bring your own food. Yeah, and I think she ended up, there was about 20 of them, and many of them have gone on to bigger and better things, and, they got through it. Some were partners, some were actually workers who were out of work and were missing that crew camaraderie that you have when you're on a crew, and then all of a sudden you're not working in the industry, or, just out of it for a bit, and, where's me mates? I haven't got any. Like you say, you don't know anyone, so I can see totally how that would help.
It's a funny thing. I'm actually just going through that at the moment. I was working on a major project over here for 4 years and was made redundant. It was a construction job, so you work yourself out of a job in construction. So that came to an end for me in December, which was good. Like, I was ready for it to be over. But it's a really funny feeling you get when you're like, these people that I've been living with, it was a 4-in-1, these people I've been living with for the last 4 years, day in, day out, right next to each other, I'm probably never going to see most of them ever again, And you go from that to all of a sudden, I as I said, I'm an East Coast boy, so a lot of my friends are over there. I have some good friends over in Perth, luckily enough. But you don't have that social aspect every single day, and you do sort of miss that. And yeah, it's a strange vibe. As much as I loved being away from the job and stuff like that, and I've given myself a 6-month holiday because I just wanted to chill out. As much as you love being away from it and not having to work, there is that sense of missing the place that you've given most of your last 4 years to.
Yeah, can be really daunting when you leave people that you've worked with for so long, as you're saying, Andrew, because they become family. You know all about, you sit next to half the time, same couple of people on the same bus, and everyone's getting their text messages from their family, so you know what's happening in everyone's lives, and this one's about to have a baby, or this one's, kids are going through drama, and then it just all of a sudden, it just all stops. I was in the same place. Yeah, I was in the same place for 8 years, and then I left, and, you still love everybody, and I know they love me, of course, why wouldn't they? No, but that's it, but you don't, everyone's doing their own thing, and you move on, and just day before yesterday, I ran into my old supervisor at the shopping centre, and he was with his kid, and I was with someone else, and I went over and said hello, and I went to shake his hand, and he shook my hand, but he gave me a hug, which was awesome. And because he was just like, he seriously was the best supervisor I've ever had. It was, and I'm doing other things now. So I'm a carer, I'm a support worker, but I'm still
on site.
No, in town. I've actually out of the industry, which has just come out because of couple of interviews I did on the ABC and stuff about our fatalities that we've had over here this year. And
it's crazy, isn't it?
Oh no, my partner, I do have a partner, the real miner. He's underground. He works underground, and he said, "Oh, you can't be Mad Mumsy anymore now that you're not out there driving a truck." And it kind of, I had to work through it. But I decided, no, you can't take 13 years of that away.
Yeah,
I'm still feel like I'm helping a lot of people. I'm still connected because my mum, my stepdad, my sister, my brother-in-law, and my partner all still work in the industry. And, and it's only been a year pretty much that I'm not doing it. But I just, I'm getting old. I wanted a dog. I wanted to be home. You just get to that point.
Yeah, you get to that stage where you need a bit of a change.
That's it. But as back to your app, talking about all the different rosters, when you've got 5 family members on different rosters, and you're like, well, are you working? Who's there? And what? I don't know. I'm having trouble keeping up with my own. When I was doing it, keeping up with my own roster, let alone everybody else's. So, because you can put. Oh, there's a question actually. Can you put more than one person's roster in there?
Yeah, that's one thing. That's a question that I get heaps, or a request that I get heaps from my users. I made it so you can't do that because I'll explain why. So at the moment, you've got your roster. You can put in night shift, you can put in day shift, you can put in annual leave, you can put in RDOs, right? Yep. So you've got 4 different colours. You've got brown, orange, blue, and beige, right? Yep. That's your roster. Then all of a sudden, I put in your roster, and that's another 4 different colours that I need, because if they're the same colours, you're not going to know whose is whose, right? So all of a sudden, you've got 8 colours on the one roster. Then if you put a third person in, all of a sudden you've got 12 colours on the same roster. It gets starting getting really sort of ugly for mine. So what I basically did is the social side of things. If you are friends with someone, send them a friend request. They go in your friends list, and you've got instant access to their roster. If they've allowed people to see their roster, if they've allowed their roster to be visible, then you can go onto their profile, look at their roster, and see when they're in. And I'm just in the process of doing of adding the yearly view of your roster into it. Oh, so basically, you're going to end up having a screenshot of someone else's yearly view. You can easily see what when you and said person are available at the same time. So yeah, it was a neater way of doing things, I thought, and also brought this social aspect into it as well.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's getting you to connect within the app as well. I see because that was what I was going to say. Is there a way that you could have different calendars within it, but by doing it that way, you're interacting with that person.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there a setting where you can have it public only to friends?
Yeah, so look, at the moment it's not, and I realised that was a bit of a mistake on my part. So the new update, which hopefully will be out sort of in the next couple of weeks, basically if you're not friends with someone on the app, you can't view their roster. You can only view their roster, 1, if you're friends, and 2, if they've allowed their roster to be visible.
Yes.
So in your settings, you can, if you don't want anyone to know what your roster is in your settings, you just go in and turn off visible roster. So.
Yeah, but in the new update, if you turn it on, it's only your friends that can see it anyway.
Exactly.
Right, yep. Perfect. Because, with privacy, I can hear some people would be thinking, I don't want people to know when I'm not home.
Exactly, yeah. So that sort of came into my head. It's something that I'd sort of overlooked, and then when I was sort of talking about the new updates and the yearly view and who can see it and who can't, then I just thought, well, probably if you're not friends with someone, you shouldn't really be looking at their roster, so let's do something about that, hey?
It's really good that you... Sorry, hang on. Time for
it sounds like you're really enjoying that beer. I'm very jealous.
I was just thinking on sculling away. Well, I'm not sculling, I'm sipping. But now I'm going to have a...
Drinking responsibly, you mean?
Yeah. I'll have a cheers with you when you're long black with your honey.
Cheers, indeed, yeah.
Beautiful.
Delicious.
So you're a bit of a techno geek then?
Look, I wasn't until I sort of started making the first app. That's why I ended up with doing it with my friend, because I really didn't know so much what I was doing. It's something I've learned along the way. Mm-hmm. And by the time I'd finished the first app and came into making the second one, I sort of had a really good idea of what I was doing, and started doing my own graphics and stuff like that, just to try and sort of get everything done as smoothly as possible and get my ideas across how I wanted them, if you know what I mean. Like I had a friend that did my graphics for the first one. I'd tell him what I want, he'd interpret it his way and bring it back to me, and it was nothing that I'd asked for. So, and also I was getting him to do it for free, and he was very good for doing it, but you know, he didn't really need to be. So I thought I'd better learn how to do it myself, so that I don't have to keep relying on someone. And yeah, so it's basically something I've learned along the way. A lot of hours watching YouTube. I tell you what, it didn't think without YouTube.
Me too, Andrew. That, oh God, because I do everything for the podcast. So
Yep.
I do all the recording, the editing, the creating the little headliner promo videos, the websites, which has been good because I've got other sideline work for the knowledge that I've picked up on all of that.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so very basic web design and stuff. And I just love it and so passionate about it. And I can hear what you're saying about getting someone else to do something for you, and especially if it's free, you can't sort of say, "Nah, mate, that's not what I wanted." You know, like
Yeah,
you
exactly,
can't. It's different if you pay. I've paid my logo. I got done on Fiverr.
Yep.
And they promote it that, you know, you can get stuff done for $5. So it started off at $5. But then if I wanted a bigger one and this, and then if I wanted a transparent background, and then if I wanted to be able to use it for commercial use, but it still only ended up costing about $50 probably.
That's not too bad, really, is it?
No, that's right. My little plaited lady with a pink hard hat. And the way he plonked the pink hard hat on, I'm like, no, that looks crap. You know, you just let's tilt it a little bit. And yeah, he must have thought I was a crazy lady.
Yeah, well, that's where I was at, basically. I was like, you know what, I don't want to have to be dealing with the other person. You know, I just want to be able to do this myself.
Yeah.
You know.
And YouTube, like you say, I'm always...
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's awesome. I've created a few myself that I just record so I remember how to do things for myself and people, you know, so I've got my own little playlist just to go back in and how did I do that again without spending another 3 hours trying to find it. But it always ends up being some 12-year-old boy from Europe that you can't understand hardly, and he's like, anyway, here I am, and he's in his bedroom and he's telling you how to do this full-on technical thing.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. And I actually just purchased a drone, and same deal. I'm on YouTube finding out how to do this, how to film this way, how to change, you know, the light and this and that. It's a never-ending, it's just a well of knowledge, basically. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and you've obviously got it in your blood, a bit like me, I think. You just get that passion, the passion to do it, and you just keep going deeper and deeper and find out more. At
the end of the day, I want to know. My thing is, I don't ever want to have to rely on someone. That's my thing. As far as it goes, as far as the development of my app goes, though, the coding, they can have that. I'm not even anywhere near learning how to code Android and iOS devices and apps. So that's one thing I have to pay for.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff, I want to know it anyway. I'm one of those people that I don't want to just get something done. I want to find out how to do it. It's just I always want to learn. So yeah, that's you're probably exactly the same way. You just information overload. Love it.
Yeah, and it can be to your detriment because I've started backing off on how many podcasts that I'm getting around to doing. Well, because I've had a bit of a change of what's going on in my life, but also I have to do all of the things. You know, there's other people that have started a podcast and they've catching up to my numbers already because I was pretty much the first one to do it in Australia just on mining, and that's fine. The more the merrier. It's awesome. More people talking about it and at different levels. Like I have a beer and we swear and stuff. So, you know, you need other ones that are a bit posher and a bit more corporate or whatever. But
and you need the competition to keep pushing you.
Well, it is. And since the ABC said I have a weekly podcast, I'm like, I better get back to it. And I just put one out the other day about earthquakes and mining because of those earthquakes over in WA last week.
Over in WA,
Yeah, and so I recorded a chat with my sister, which we're doing more often now because we've got a collaboration coming up where we're starting called Steel Cap Sisters. So we're getting together and just recording our conversations and doing lots of things. And it's not all about mining. you know, because we're quite narrowed at the moment with what we're doing. Hang on, I've gone on a tangent. It's not. I better have a drink, eh?
Well, what I actually love about the podcasts within the mining industry, and I within the app, I've got my little podcast section in there that you can. You're obviously in there. There's a fair few podcasts in there that you can access. It didn't need to be in there, but I wanted it in there because we spend so much time sitting in airports, sitting on planes, you know, it's really good, I think, to listen to the conversations that other people in the industry are having, you know, and getting perspectives from other people about their life, their industry, their side of the industry. And like I said, we as much as we are at work a lot, we also have a lot of downtime sitting around waiting for flights, on flights, in airports, on buses. Why not have a listen to other people, you know? And so, direct access from the app, that was one of the things I wanted, people to be able to go in, find your podcast, find fit podcasts in there, like fitness ones. You know, you got to keep fit. You got to keep mentally fit and physically fit, I think, in the industry, or else you're up against the wall, you know? Like, I think physical fitness really does go alongside mental fitness. And, you know, it's a big part of it, I think, being mentally fit. You know,
totally, yeah. And physically,
if you've got someone talking about it, talking you through it, through the podcast, you know, you'd have podcasts yourself where we're obviously tackling the mental fitness sides of things and everything. This is things people should be listening to, you know, because it's an issue out there.
Yeah, totally agree. And see, a big part of why I started the podcast, other than being a bit of a geek, is I was listening to lots of podcasts. And so when I was on break, I'd download them all, put them on a USB stick, and because I was driving trucks or machines, you know, graders and stuff, and I'd chuck my stick in, listen to podcasts, and it was all about internet business and web design and, you know, smart passive income, all of these improvement ones and self-help ones, a few meditation ones and stuff. And so it was what I was listening to. Other people were listening to the radio, if it worked, in their truck all day, and you hear the same 10 songs and drives you mad.
Exactly,
and, you know, so I was studying and learning, and I've got reams and reams and books of notes and dreams that I made in my truck, and now I feel like I'm out of my machine, and all of that time I'm starting to really put more to use now, and I'm going back through those books. I'm creating my online courses. I'm connecting with people, sharing their stuff, you know. So I totally agree with having podcasts inside the app. That was an amazing thing when you asked me, can I use your podcast in there? I'm like, hell yeah. Of course you can.
I just, again, I'm always looking at ways that improve the app for the users, and I think that was a great way of doing it. When I say I always am, I'm pretty much putting a cut on it this year, because I can't keep spending on what I am on this app. I'm pretty much drawing a line in the sand now. So
yeah, because you say,
I've got it to a point where it's usable for everyone, and everyone's getting a lot out of it.
Yeah, and you've got, you know, I was going to say that earlier actually, but you know me, I went on a tangent. It was about you really listening to the users and what they've been asking for and stuff like that. Last update had heaps of new stuff in it.
Yeah.
You know, some people don't listen and they just say, no, that's how it is, and I'm just going to leave it there forever. That other one probably had a bit to do with why that didn't keep going, you know.
Yeah,
so.
and what people need to understand, like, I think, like, just, I welcome all suggestions. Like, constructive criticism I'm happy with, you know, and that's great, I think. But there's also, it's one of my biggest peeves about the thing is I 100% accept people giving suggestions, and that's great. What you got to understand is every suggestion probably going to cost me about $5,000.
Yeah.
Minimum. Right? Yeah. So I can't do everyone's suggestions. That's fine. And some are good, some are bad. Definitely the yearly view one, I think that's a fantastic suggestion. People have been doing that since the start. I've finally gotten around to doing it. It's costing me a lot of money, right? What people don't understand, I think people are under the impression that I am making mega money off this app. And the fact of the matter is it costs $1.99. Yeah. It's 30% of that, around about, is taken from either by Android or Apple.
Of course.
And then the remainder, I then pay tax on top of.
Yeah.
So I'm really not making any money on this. I'm so far behind on this app. And you've got people like the one that my mate had. There's another one. There's a couple out there. I'm not going to mention names because they're the competition, but they're for free. And, you know, I've actually read something by one of the developers recently, and people got to understand is this. It's more like a hobby, and it's an expensive hobby. You know, so people get angry at you for why isn't it got this? Why isn't it? Oh, this isn't worth $1.99. You know, people talk as if it's like, you know, the price of a house. Yeah. It's $1.99. It's really nothing. If you saw a $2 coin in the gutter, you'd be reluctant to pick it up, you know. But what people don't understand is, and you know, they get quite aggressive about it sometimes. Oh, this isn't worth the money I paid. You've just paid $2 to have a really good thing on your phone, and they taking the time out to send you emails telling you how shit you are, basically. And it's actually really hard to take that sort of stuff on the chin, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's the downside of this sort of thing. Like, it really has cost me a lot of money to make this app. And I'm not going to see that return probably ever, I wouldn't think. But that's why I sort of have to get it to a point now where I'm just like, you know, this is where I'm pretty happy with the app. And from now on, the updates will be just keeping it running, you know?
Yeah. Staying up with the technology and stuff, which is still going to cost you money.
Exactly. It is. Every time I you know, Skype my developers, it's costing me money, and I don't see that money back. It's at the end of the day, I'm getting probably $1 back from $1.99, and that's a lot of people that I need downloading my app to make up what it's cost me to make this app, and I'm not going to get that back. So,
well, hey, you know, you've been on the Beers with a Minor podcast now, so. Yeah. No.
Well, hopefully, look, and again, I didn't do it. I never did this to make a lot of money at all. No. It was never about making money. I always said that I'm not going to be able to retire on what I'm doing here. It's a hobby. Yeah. You know. But I'm happy with it. I'm really proud of it. It's just sometimes you get those emails and reviews on the App Store and stuff like that where you're just like, you're joking me, aren't you? Like, this is $1.99. You know, you're probably a smoker. You know, you pay $30 for a pack of cigarettes and you're emailing me about $1.99 out.
Yeah. And I think, too, that there are quite a few free apps just in general in the App Store that I've gotten or downloaded, and because it shows you all the things in the, you know, when you review it or look into it, you're like, yeah, that's cool. And then you go to do it all and it's like, oh, no, you've got to pay for that and got to pay for that and got to pay for that. Yeah. So you don't have any in-app purchases, they're called, aren't they?
None of that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want any ads, and I didn't want to have in-app purchases. I just wanted the one-off price. You pay it, and you've got the app for good.
Bang, you've got that. And, hey, if you live in the mining lifestyle, in theory, you should be able to afford $1.99.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's why people do it, for the big bucks, right?
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a funny world. The app world is quite funny. And like I said, someone who would happily spend, you know, $100 a week on beer and cigarettes is reluctant to spend $1.99 one time only to buy an app. It's a funny mentality that we're dealing with in the app world.
Yeah.
I'm also saying I've got a lot of, for the fact that it is a paid for app, I really have had a lot of downloads, and I'm stoked with it. You know, it is a really really good to see. And I'm probably averaging sort of 15 to 20 downloads a day, and I think that's great, you know.
Yeah,
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah,
so.
And that proves to you and also to me, ask the people listening as well, that people see it as an app that is definitely going to help them in their FIFO journey. And like you say, whatever, you can use it for whatever roster, really.
Yeah.
Another thing that we haven't really touched on is that in there you've got a section on Partners Help, I think it's called, and there's kids and the kids section. Can we talk about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So again, that goes back to when I was making the app. Initially, I didn't want to make just a roster app. I wanted to make a FIFO app, including everything sort of what I thought was in the FIFO life. And like I said earlier, that's not just FIFO workers. That's everyone affected by FIFO, which is partners, which is family, which is kids. They're all affected by it. You know, dad's, you know, away for 4 weeks at a time. These kids are without their father or their mother for 4 weeks at a time, you know, and there are some awesome products like this. I'm not the first to go into this. There's awesome products out there for kids, for partners, for family members, and I wanted people to have access to that. I wanted you know, to let people know that it's a support thing. You know, I wanted people to know that there is support out there. There are products out there for to help you get through these things. It's not an easy life. No one knows it. I think from an outsider's point of view, they just sit there and think, oh, they make the big dollars, you know, it's easy, blah, blah, blah. You get a week off, 2 weeks off, you know, go on holidays. You know, there's a whole total side of it that they don't sort of see. It's a tough life, and these products are really good for helping getting through those things. So that again, that was the thing. It's not just for a FIFO worker; it's for everyone affected by the FIFO lifestyle. Yeah. And there's some good. Yeah, if you a lot of people get this app and they just use the roster. It's worth just having a bit of a look through it. You know, we had that much downtime. It's worth just having a flick through, and you know, it's right there in the menu. You can go in, have a look at all the products. There's some great stuff in there. There's some really good podcasts you can listen to. I don't know. But yeah, you know, there's a lot of things in there for kids. Toys that you can make look like your dad or your mum, sort of thing. You know, or
cool.
whatever. There's heaps of really cool products out there.
Yeah.
Photo albums, you know, stuff like that. Books. There's a ton of books out there for that sort of thing. You know, it's really worth exploring what is out there to help all facets of the other side of the FIFO lifestyle, the parents and kids and family.
I love it. I love that aspect. I think the most is all those extra things and that you're adding. You know, like so when you go into the kids section or the partner section, or I think even the podcast section, there's you've written some lovely words about why podcasts are good, for instance, and then you scroll down to the bottom and it's got all the logos of all the things, and it's the same in the section for kids and stuff, and you know, you're not making money off those people promoting their stuff. It's just
absolutely.
Well, I don't know. You know, I don't.
No,
I don't.
No, I just wanted them in there for the benefit of the actual the FIFO workers and their families. That's nothing that I'm making money off at all.
Oh, can you know what I'm going to do now?
Oh, it sounds like open another beer.
Yeah, my listeners know.
You're making me really jealous. I'm actually devastated. I don't have any beer in the fridge.
Even if
probably,
it is.
I'm close enough to midday to get into one as well, and it's
these Western. This mainly happens to Western Australian people I interview. I tell you, just not as organised as us in Queensland. I never have no beer in my fridge. Okay, hang on, Andrew.
WA is always a bit behind.
Cover your ears.
Yeah. That sounds
best sound in the world.
Now for a word from our sponsor.
Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group. Julia's my awesome accountant. She's written 2 books with financial expert Noel Whittaker, and she's got a passion to help us miners make the most out of our hard-earned cash. She's got heaps of tips and make sure that we get every cent we are meant to get, and is right on the ball with everything. If you head to bantax.com.au/miners, that's BANTACS, you can download a free booklet all just for us miners. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that helps you check off what tools you have for your trade, like your isolation lock, work boots, 7 shirts, all of these sorts of things, and you can weigh them up and it'll tell you if you qualify weight-wise to claim your trips out to work. And that's just one of the things that they've got over there. So I strongly urge you to head to bantax.com.au/miners and see what they can do and find your nearest office as we come up to tax time. They're really on the ball, know what's going on with the tax department, and there's heaps of other free information like property investing. If you really plan on doing some great things with your money, you want to do that, right? If you want to sell your house, can save a lot of money if you find out what to do first rather than in hindsight. And Julia, she'll, make sure you get it right. And if you do it wrong and then go and see her, she'll up you in the nicest possible way, because she really cares about us and wants us to keep our money and not give it to the tax department. Anyway, head over to bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumsy sent you. A guy on Facebook that I used to work with, one of my old mates, JS, and he listens to the podcast in his truck, downloads his podcasts on when he's at home. He listens to a lot of the sporting ones as well.
Yep.
So all the Triple M sporting things, and go into their podcast, download all the ones for the week while he was at work, and listens to them when he goes back to work. And I believe he downloads mine still as well. Hi, JS.
That's awesome, yeah.
But his daughter made a cake for someone, and it's a 4X Gold beer can.
Oh,
and so I'm like, hey, yeah, I'd love that one. It was funny, yeah. So that's where you still touch base with your old people. I haven't worked with him for years, but I still love him, and his whole family. I know about his whole family,
Yeah.
They don't
it's
go
great.
away.
It's great when you can actually get back in contact with people, or you do still keep contact. I've met some amazing people on my journey as well, and some you still keep. I feel like even this morning I was there's a group of people that I met on a job probably 2013, and we're trying to organise a triple A, to catch up, because they're just people that you never forget. They really had an impact on your life at the time, and it's good to see that side of things is still going.
So I know that you did FIFO construction. What did you actually do? Were you in like your role within construction?
Yeah, well, I started in civil construction, so worked on a gas plant in Karratha to start with in 2012. That's where I first kicked off. Before that, so wind it back a bit, I'm a qualified glazier, which is someone who works with glass, for people who have no idea what a glazier is.
I was just trying to think, glazier.
Yeah, so I did that for, between 12 and 15 years as a trade. Grew up in Melbourne and then moved up to Byron, so I was doing it up there. And
tough. I bet that was tough living in Byron.
To be honest, it really was tough, because up in Byron you don't get paid anything. So I was doing my trade and busting my ass for like $18.90 an hour. It was horrible. So I ended up leaving then and went into restaurant managing, which was amazing. I worked at a fantastic restaurant in Byron, Earth and Sea, pizza and pasta, if anyone's going that way. Fantastic. But again, it was, I bought a house up there, life was good. Don't get me wrong. I was surfing every morning, going to work in the afternoon. It was great in the restaurant, but there was just, again, it was week to week living. You know, you get to the end of the week, you have no money in your account, and that's Byron. You've got to work 2 jobs to even get anywhere. And so the FIFO conversation started coming up between me and a couple of mates, and we sort of worked. I ended up moving out of my house and renting it out, trying to prepare for the opportunity to leave when I had to. And, probably about 6 months down the track, the opportunity came up. We landed this role over in Karratha and sort of never looked back. So, I started in civil construction. Yep. Did that for a couple of years from job to job. Did a job over in Queensland up at Cannington, BHP mine.
Yep.
That was a really good gig over there, 2-1. And then went away for a year, travelling through Southeast Asia. That was a good time. And then came back and started on another gas plant in Onslow, you may have heard of.
Yeah.
And was there for 4 years, started in civil construction for about a year, and then moved into transport and logistics, and did that for the next sort of 3 years, and bounced around sort of, in little roles there, but really, really good experience. And now I've just started looking to possibly get into the actual mining industry, just for the I don't know, see a different side of things, and definitely a much more family and socially friendly roster in mining than construction, you know.
So are you still based in Perth, or?
Yeah, I'm in WA. So I met my girlfriend towards the end of my last gig. So construction wasn't actually a bad thing for me back in the time, you know. Like, it was a good money maker, and there was no one waiting for me at home.
Yeah.
You know, I was travelling a lot and everything. Then I met my girlfriend. Got together with my girlfriend sort of at the end of that gig. So now I don't want to go back to a 4-on-1 roster or a 3-on-1 roster sort of thing, you know, because I'd rather spend as much time with her as I can. So, but and still have the luxury of the 1 week off at a time. 2 weeks off.
Yeah, and that's what happens to us as we all move through life. Situations change, and you meet different people. People have kids, you know, that don't want to, or the kids are going through troubles at home, and you know, they're just. That's what happened to me. There were so many things in my life that were changing. I was just like, you know what, this just isn't working for me anymore.
Yeah.
I need to change. What can I do? Pardon?
You get to that point. You get to that tipping point where you go, okay, I need to rethink what I'm doing here, what I'm prioritising in my life here.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. Like, I was on 4-on-1 for 4 years, and I know people with wives and kids at home and stuff like that were on 4-on-1. I don't know how they did it. Like, hats off to them, and hats off to the partners and kids at home as well going through it, because that's an intense time to be away from your family and your partner, unless you really like it. I don't know. Some people, I guess, do. But,
that's it, and you plan for it. I've interviewed quite a few people on that subject, exactly. And, you know, you're doing it, so how, as a family, can we make this work? You know, the biggest things, communication, and then using the tools like what you're sharing within your FIFO Life app for kids and partners. I know people that, when I'll just talk from personal experience. Here's one, walking to put my my washing into the laundry, and seeing guys sitting on their donga steps, and they're on FaceTime to their kids.
Yep.
You know, and I thought, I'm going to bloody do that. My kids are grown up now, so I FaceTimed my daughter when I went to get my washing out of the dryer later that night. And I said, come for a walk with me to the laundry. And it was night time, and I'm walking down the corridors of the dongas there and into the laundry. And I said, now don't talk too loud because people are probably asleep.
Yep.
And she goes, Mum, it looks horrible. It looks like a jail. And I said, oh, no, sweetie, no. It's only because it's dark. There's palm trees. It was actually one of the nicest camps I'd been in. We still laugh about that today.
From the outside of that, it looks can look a bit different though, can't it?
Yeah, that's right. And other people, when they buy their kids a book, they'll buy 2. So the partner who works away, because it's not always a man,
Yeah.
sometimes it's the mum and the dad's home, or they swap, So the person away for work has the same copy and the kid has the same book at home, and they can sit there on FaceTime and flick the pages together. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my
that's
God.
awesome, isn't it?
Yeah,
There's
and
a lot of
things like that. That's how you make it work.
Yeah, I think FaceTime is an amazing thing. Again, that's also within the app. I'm telling people don't call someone up, video call them. You know, the ability to do it's right there in your hand. I don't have any kids myself. Like I said, I didn't have my partner until right towards the end. But as soon as I got my partner, we were FaceTiming all the time. You know, video calls and whatever. And same with I've got quite a fair few nieces and nephews. I never speak to them on the phone. It's always FaceTime. They're in Melbourne, so I don't get over there a lot. But it's always a FaceTime call. It's such a more personal thing to do to look at someone face to face and have a proper conversation with them than just over the phone, which is I guess a bit disappointing that you didn't get to do a video podcast this time. But yeah, it's that it brings it in a lot closer. It's a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Personal. You know,
Personal,
it's a lot,
that's what I was thinking.
It brings the personal side of a phone call into it, sort of thing, intimate.
That's right, and kids love it. My grandson is living with us now, and my daughter's like, hang on, there goes a train. There's a train going past. Hang on, I better have another
Brilliant.
drink.
Yeah, it's a little drink pause there.
Yes. Can you hear that train?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, see what I mean? The joys of podcasting. And they're long, some of them. But it would have been heaps louder at my house, so at least I'm a bit further away.
Enough.
Yeah, that's all right. And people that listen know about my trains, so, you get that. I can't even, I've got my grandson up here, and he's 3, and he just loves the FaceTime, FaceTiming other people that are away now, because he's with us, so that's good, but he just loves it, and even when I'm in town working, and we'll have a quick little FaceTime, and he'll show me something he's made and stuff, and he always wants to kiss
awesome
the
resource,
phone. He's always kissing the phone. It's so cute. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I love that advice. That's really good advice, is to use that. And you can see your home. So you're the one away, but you can see the home. You can, if you've done some gardening today, that's what I missed a lot, was before I had partners and all the family moved here, followed me up here pretty much. It was just me, and I'd had an awesome day in the yard, changes around in my house, had absolutely no one to tell. But FaceTime would have been great. It wasn't invented then, show my age now. That's a great tip.
It's an amazing resource, and I think while you got it, use it, because it really does. And like harking back to the mental health talk about things, it really does help with that as well. It brings a much more personal and intimate feel to the whole thing, and makes you feel a lot better mentally. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
that closeness of it.
Yeah, and feeling connected, that's a huge part.
100%.
Yeah. So since we're talking about mental health, or as my sister calls it, health and well-being, same kind of thing. I just love that. It's beautiful, isn't it? Health and well-being. I've asked quite a few of my guests this, and I'm going to ask you now, Andrew. You ready? Look out. It's
I'm ready.
No, on the spot. What is your special place when life turns to shit? How do you, Andrew, personally handle the tough times? What are your strategies to hang in there?
Look, I've always been a traveller. So whenever I was in hard times, now I was a different thing. I actually didn't have too many issues. I didn't have the kids at home. I didn't have the partner at home or anything like that. So I never really had too much problems working away, feeling the isolation. I generally had good mates around me working and stuff like that. So but when things were getting down and stuff like that, I just look forward to a holiday. I've travelled a lot. My R&Rs were generally over in Indonesia surfing or, something like that. And my time away would be looking at a map and working out where I'm going to go next and whatnot, That was how I sort of got through things. And I've got some of the best mates, and if I'm down, I know that I can talk to them and they're going to bring me up. And the same with them, I've been fortunate enough to, most of my jobs I've had, like, best mates on. So if things do get too tough, I know that I can just call on them and they'll be there for me if they need me. And I think that's another thing which is, it's such a tough one, but especially with guys, there's so much bravado in asking for help. I've never had an issue asking for help. And my friends have never had issues asking for help. That's a really key thing. If you're down and feeling crap, don't be scared to ask for help. There's chances are other people feel the same way, or have felt the same way and have great ways of getting out of it. Ask. And that's my thing. I've always had the friend groups there to be able to, if life's getting too much, just to ground me, center me sort of thing. Bring me back to the good place.
The Good Place. One of my favourite shows, actually. Fork that.
That's a pretty good show, isn't it? I think I've watched about 3 seasons of that. It's
oh, my God, I love it.
Quite a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, my sister put me onto that. So whenever we're talking, it's always fork this and, that shirt. And it's actually on free to air now.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I was flicking and it was on ABC Comedy, I think, Channel 22 over here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, so I had to sit there and watch. And they were real old from season 1. Like, oh, wow, so much has happened.
I first started watching it and I was sitting there going, this is like, what the hell is this? And then actually really walked into it going, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Cool concept and a cool show, hey?
Yeah, so cool. And the funniest thing was when I went last year over to my sister's, over Mandurah, they are based.
Yep.
And she put me onto it and stuff, and then they knew, because they made me watch from the start, and they knew what happened at the end of season 1 about about the Good Place.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not. But there's a thing, right? And they were sitting there, her and her partner. She's got a real miner as well. He's an underground jumbo operator, and They knew this was coming. How they held it in, I don't know how the hell they did. And I'm running around the room. We'd had a few when you're on holidays over there.
Yeah.
Like, what? Are you serious? It's so cool. Yeah, so that's a huge part of our Steel Cap Sisters conversations is lots of forks.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So probably ready to wrap up. What do you reckon, Andrew?
Yeah, have you covered everything that
I
you
have. I think I'd just like to say in your what you shared about your special place and how you get through things. That connecting is with your mates and talking and everything that's so key, and you've got that from within the app. You can do that directly from within the app, can't you? Like, you can click on your Beyond Blues and Lifelines and stuff. And
that's the thing as well. Like, if 20 people have downloaded my app and only one of those people go into the mental health section and click on one of those icons, and we've got direct numbers from there. You can literally press it and get in contact through the app with anyone who's ready to talk to you. If it's one person out of 100 that does that, then the app's doing its job, and I think that's a really really good side of it as well. That the help is there if you need it, and no one should be too proud or too scared to ask for help.
That's right, and you should be very proud of the passion that you've put behind this app. For all of those things. Yes, it's a roster app, but it's so much more than that. And the other part you were talking about was your travel and going away and planning, and that's a big thing I talk about
especially for people who say being a truck driver is brain dead trucking, like you're brain dead. Well, you're not. You don't have to be. You can choose to be if you want. Choose not
100%.
to be. You know, like download your podcast. I always say, draw your next tattoo. Research your boat. Plan what you're going to do on your holiday. Plan, or, you know, I've drawn that many dream houses designs. You know, there's you just make the most of it.
There's
But
so many ways to keep busy mentally.
yeah, exactly. And also, but bringing it back to your app, your countdown timer. Oh, I'm going to be using that so much. I haven't got into it properly, the countdown timer side of it. But to utilise that, not like you say, not just for your countdown when it's time to go home. I know people who have different systems for that. They've got their 7 shirts hanging up and they don't wash them and put them back. They have, you know, there's only one hanging left. That means there's only one day left and stuff like that. And on my last day, I always had a special pair of jeans and a shirt that were my sports day jeans and a wet pants. Beautiful. You know, it was my last day because I was excited we're all going home.
Yeah, so, you'll have your little rituals and stuff like that, isn't it? I think that's a great, like it's, you know, that side of things also because you know you have just done the hard work. You know, celebrate it. Get excited about leaving. You know,
exactly. And hump day. We're over the hump. It's halfway. It's all downhill from here. We should have started with this one. You know, or the last day they always say that. Should have started with this one. Yeah, but we wouldn't appreciate it so much because we hadn't gone through all this crap.
Well, I mean, especially on my last job, it was 4 weeks and 4 and 1. You know, by the end of your 4 weeks, you are just like, get me to that airport. But there's such an awesome that feeling. You know, that feeling when you've come to the end of it, it's an amazing feeling. And watching the countdown from your countdown timer, that's pretty cool as well. And sharing it, like, that's another cool thing about your, I'm going to do this to you after we get off the phone. But I'll show you the graphic. You can share that with all your friends, you know, the countdown timer. I'm going to send it to you. You can use that as a graphic for this podcast if you like. But
absolutely.
Yeah, it's there's that celebration. Sending it, I used to do that when towards the end when I'd send it to my girlfriend. Like, you know, every morning I'd send her a thing. This is how many days we got left. You know, this is how many days we got left. Awesome, you know, graphics and stuff like that. Just to share the countdown timer with the people that count. You know.
Yeah, that's right. And my sister always says, one more get up.
Yep.
So one more day to get up and then just going home and. Yeah, it's always good, and that's a big part of mine and the real miners as well. It's like, yay, last one. It's always yay with lots of exclamation
celebrating
marks.
With other people.
Last one, and exactly, that's right. You're bonding with everybody, and So, well, just touching on that, but and then we will close off. I'll let you go. You got girlfriend to look after.
Any second now. Glaring at me.
Perfect timing. When you get there and you know you got 4 weeks to go.
Yep.
Because my mum and my sister both did 6 and 1 back in the day.
Wow, as slog, isn't it?
I know, as cleaners, and it was. I think the rosters kind of changed in 2-week blocks. So when they arrived, you know, everyone looked. The people in that roster looked miserable, whereas other people were on their countdown to go home time. And she said they had to go in through this row of dead trees, and it was just like, oh my God, we're gonna die.
The bus from the airport to the camp. It's like the, you know, the most miserable people in the world.
That's it. So how do you get through that? You just do.
Oh look,
time goes, doesn't it? It does go.
I've always been of the opinion, work to live, not live to work. Yeah. So if I'm on that bus heading in for 4 weeks, I know that at the end of that 4 weeks, I've got money in my bank account. I've probably got something cool happening at the end of it, and you know, reap the rewards of the next 4 weeks. You know, I always had something to work towards. That's basically was my thing. You know, I always had something at the end of that 4 weeks that I was working towards, not just you know, just, you know, the same old. There was always something at the end of it that And it didn't have to be a holiday every time or anything like that. It just had to be something that I was going to do on my next break that was going to make this 4 weeks worth being up here.
That's it. Again, back to my sister, she's just coming in my head here. One of the sayings she always has is start with why about everything. Like, why? Why are you doing it? Why am I here? Why am I putting myself through this? Why am I not at home? Well, this is why. And then, like you say, focus on that. And that's what helps you get through this. That's going to help my people who listen to the podcast so much, Andrew, because a lot of people that listen are people who are just so desperate to get into the industry. That seems to be my peeps. And then there's others that listen that are already there, and there's some, they've got 1 more year to go before they retire, and a lot of people have forgotten that why, and they just see it as Groundhog Day. They're never going to get out of there. They're never going to retire. They have to keep coming back. They've got the golden handcuffs on. They can't escape. They have to keep coming here, and that's the end of the world. And they bring everyone down. You have to be able to find a way to not let that energy get to you, and we all have a way to make that happen, which is a big part of my messages.
Yeah, 100%. You really need, and that's the thing as well, you need to look after yourself out there. Like, you 100% do. You've got to be able to filter out those people that are, I guess you call them negative Nancy's or whatever. The people that will always find the glass half empty. You've got to be able to, because they're there. You're not going to get rid of them.
No, that's right. They will be there.
So you've got to learn how to deal with that yourself and ignore what they're doing and get yourself through it. You really do have to look after yourself and just not be affected by that sort of thing, and keep your eye on the goal, straight up.
Yeah.
Don't lose sight of what your why.
Love it. Now, speaking of negative Nancy's, we really better go before you get an angry girlfriend coming in the door on her birthday.
If I'm still sitting here. So.
Oh my God. Okay, I've got 1 more minute, so I'll just finish off. Where can people get in touch with you?
I am always available through the FIFO Life Facebook page or Instagram page. I'm pretty good at responding to messages on there if they want to get in contact with me. Yeah. That's a good thing as well. I do get a lot of messages on there from people that just want to chat, and I'm always there for it. There are people out there that are lonely and they just want to chat. I'm there to chat. I'm cool with that, and I'm really all ears all the time.
Yeah.
If you've got an issue with your app, same deal. Get in contact with it. Email info@fifolifeapp.com.
And you can email from directly within the app, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep. There's all sorts of reporting problems, or just if you've got a suggestion, most pages at the bottom says have a suggestion. And it's got the email link. Email me. You're better off Facebook if you don't have Facebook or Instagram, then email me. But otherwise, Facebook instant message or Instagram instant message, I'm pretty responsive on that. So, and always happy to chat.
Beautiful. Thanks so much for your time, Andrew. It's time to say goodbye.
That was a great chat.
Oh, my God, I loved it. Oh, we could chat all day, and I've been known to, but I better go. All the links we discussed in this episode can be found at madmumsy.com/beers59. That's number 59. And also, I guess we should say you can download the app in the Apple Store and Google, all the app places. Is that right? I don't know about apps.
Yeah, Google Play and the App Store.
Google Play, that's what I was going to say. I was. All right, I better go see my dog. She'll be hating on me right now.
Yeah, too easy. I've missed calls from my girlfriend, so I better...
Oh, no. Tell her humble apologies for Mad Mumsy and happy birthday, Jenny. It was Jenny? Thanks, Andrew. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So there you go. Wow, what an amazing conversation I had with Andrew. I really enjoyed it, and I hope that you too enjoyed it as much as we did. It went on lots of different tangents than I was expecting, which is always enjoyable for me as someone who does interviews, but hopefully that keeps you guessing as well and might keep you coming back. Remember to please head to all of Andrew's links, which can be found in the show notes, madmumsy.com/beers59. That's the number 59, and it's MUMZIE. Now, if you haven't already during the interview, or you weren't already a avid follower, get your phone out and go to your app store and search FIFO Life. Download it and get into it, have a mooch around, because as Andrew shared with us, there's lots of great things in there. Find your mates, find someone in your town. If you're on, R&R somewhere, or on break, as we call it over here, find someone else to talk to. If you're the partner at home, you do the same too, mate, Find other partners who are at home. It's all about talking and connecting, and I really hope that this episode has inspired you to do just that. I'm excited to share that as I record this, I found out yesterday the Beers with a Miner podcast has hit 20,000 downloads. Now there could be more because they don't count all of them and stuff, but the official numbers on my Libsyn podcast hosting finally hit 20,000. I feel like I've been in 19 forever. So thank you right there listening, you and me. You're why I do this, and to hit that number has been a goal of mine for a long time. So I really appreciate you. If you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. And I haven't had any reviews for a while, which I get a monthly update of reviews worldwide. And no reviews to report this month. Oh, come on. It just, I know that you're messaging me and I'm getting interaction in other ways. So that's all good. But if you get a chance, when you're in your podcast app, if you get a chance to hit a review, that would be, oh my God, I'll have a beer for you, I tell you right now. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, next time, please stay safe, be real, be special, and have fun. For we only live once. Cheers.
The world doesn't stop the podcast,
It doesn't.
People still don't know the Lord.
Oh, I know. And you know what? Because I've just turned my car on, you've now gone on speakerphone.
Yeah, I thought it was going to change there. We got an echo going.
No, well, it's not. It's bloody well not. Well, look, I'm literally 30 seconds away from,
That's
doing
right.
it. This is hilarious.
These are the trials and tribulations of having a podcast, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. And it's, what else can I say about it? You've got to go with the flow, really, don't you, in life, in general?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Make it up on the fly.
I know, that's it. I might go in here to the...
Be the chameleon, that's what I always say. Be the chameleon. Adapt to your environment.
Yes. Well, I've already came and, as I told you before we started, I had to go and drop my dog back home because all I could hear was her panting.